Hi, I'm Tessa Vermelier, and I'm here to tell you about why I joined Gamergate. Now, Gamergate became public in August 2014, and I heard about it in October of the same year, and I kind of just ignored it. But then I read something that piqued my interest in November of the same year, so I decided to ask my brother what he thought about Gamergate. He's an avid gamer, and he's on Reddit as well. Now, he sent me several links explaining what Gamergate was, and he told me himself that Gamergate was fighting for the ethics in journalism. Now, reading these links, I discovered that what Gamergate was doing was because several developers had paid journalists for good reviews on games. And some of them even had sex for good reviews. This is really nasty and obviously very, very dirty. So Gamergate was essentially fighting for the truth. But the media turned it around and made it seem like what Gamergate was a hate group, and that they hated women in gaming and they hated minorities in gaming, and they wanted to keep it strictly for white men. So I thought, that's interesting. So what they're fighting for is that journalists did something bad, and the journalists are making it seem like Gamergate is bad. So I decided to jump into Twitter, where most of the conversation was going on through #Gamergate. Now, one of the first people that I met was Sarah Butts, now a well-known anti-GGer. She was having an argument with another guy, I can't remember what for, and I asked her what was going on, and she told me, look at his name. He has a lot of numbers in his name. And I said, what does that have to do with what you guys are talking about? And she told me that the numbers are the amount of people who have blocked him. And I asked her, again, what does this have to do with your conversation? And she instantly blocked me, because obviously I should have cared about the number of people who blocked him and not what they were talking about. Now, funny enough, Anti-Gamergate has made it seem like Gamergate is a hate group, and some of them even say a terrorist organization. This is really interesting. So, meeting more Gamergaters, I found that several of them didn't care if women were in gaming and didn't care if minorities were in gaming. Funny enough, a lot of them were women and a lot of them were minorities. So, throwing my name in with the lot, I decided that I was going to fight for this group. But it became really hard to keep up with everything. I would wake up, do my things for the day, and decide to jump onto Twitter. But there had been 5,000 things that had happened the night before. I didn't know what all was going on in the conversation, so I found it really hard to stay caught up. So it was really frustrating. But then, something had happened. Someone had released a whole bunch of names from Gamergate groups on Facebook, but what it did was reveal that there were a lot of women and a lot of minorities on these groups, disproving that what they were saying. So I decided, this is a perfect idea. I should jump on Facebook, since I go on Facebook all the time. So I decided to join these groups, and they accepted me. This was really, really great. It was a win-win. Not only was my name among them, but they kept me caught up on everything. And I actually became a really, really big member of the group, constantly posting. And it was really fun, because I met a lot of great people. Despite what the media will have you believe, these people aren't hateful, and they're not terrible. They love women, and they love minorities, because a lot of them are women and a lot of them are minorities. Now, what's really sad is that these people, Anti-Gamergate, they want you to believe that they fight for the women and that they fight for the minorities. But what they've done is disgusting. Because if you're a woman and you're fighting for Gamergate, they want you to prove it. They'll ask these women to send in nudes, and then they'll belittle them, make them feel bad and make them feel small, because they're fighting for these men who obviously are oppressing them. And then the minorities, they'll make them feel bad too. They'll tell them that they're lying and that they're darkening their pictures and that they're not really who they say they are. This term is sock puppeting. Now, several of these people, the minorities and the women, they decided to do #NotYourShield, because they wanted to show them that they weren't victims and that they weren't going to be used to block all these other people. And again, they accused him of being sock puppets. And it was really disgusting that these media will uphill these people and make them seem that they're good and that they're fighting, but really they're just nasty and terrible. Now, I don't want to say exactly all Anti-Gamergate people are evil, because no, I'm sure that there are very, very good people who fervently believe that Gamergate is evil and that we are disgusting. But once the truth comes out, they don't want to believe it and they'll block you and they say that you're lying. Now, what's disgusting is that Gamergate doesn't really have a leader. They'll have you believe that we do, And they'll take things that these leaders have said out of context and twist them into something that it isn't. They'll have you believe that this person hates gays and this person hates transvestites, even though that person's gay and that person's a transvestite, and they have big voices within Gamergate. But what's interesting is that the anti-Gamergate leaders will say the most disgusting things and do the most disgusting things. Like Brianna Wu. She recently canceled her booth at PAX, even though she decided to keep all the meetings that she had going there because there was a threat. There wasn't a threat, but she decided to make one up. So she posted a tweet saying that this was obviously a Gamergaters plan to PAX to burn down the building and kill everyone. But the funny thing is that the tweet was from October, and it was an anti-Gamergater threatening Gamergate. Now, she didn't even bother deleting the message, but her next tweet was her pretty much saying, "Wow, I can't believe you guys are going to be screaming at me all day. I'm just going to delete you guys and just focus on myself." Again, making herself a victim, even though she openly lied. Again, I've already mentioned how diverse Gamergate is with their genders and with their minorities. We actually have a lot of people who have different religions and different politics. Now, again, another thing that Anti-Gamergate would have you believe is that this is a conservative movement, but it really isn't. You actually have a lot of left people within Gamergate. A lot of the big voices in Gamergate are left as well. And that's pretty much my entire point of this video, is that I found amazing people within Gamergate, and that they all have different beliefs, different religions, different genders, obviously. And this isn't what the media is making it out to be. And that's why I'm #Gamergate, #NotYourShield. And that's pretty much it.